Assassin's Creed 1, the start of a series that has sold collectively more than 200 million units. The series features 12 mainline games, spanning from 2007 with Assassin's Creed 1 to 2020 with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, along with at least 22 spin-off games, 6 films or short films, 30-ish books, 20 plus comics, 8 board games, 2 audio dramas, and so much more. It is almost shocking how much Assassin's Creed content there is out there. I've got a lot of love and opinions on the series, so I thought I'd give it the time of day it deserves and start the overwhelming task of playing through the whole series and making videos for it. It's estimated that an entire playthrough of the series, including spin-offs and DLC, would take around 450 hours or 18 days. And if you're more of a completionist, it would take around 1,200 hours or roughly 49 days. I have no idea how long it will take to accomplish this lofty dream of making a video for each game, and I most likely won't play a ton of the spin-offs or read the books, although I may be brainwashed by a piece of Eden into it by the time I'm 5 games deep. This is the first long-form retrospective I've done on a game, and also my first time attempting to write a script long enough to capture the entire essence of a game in one comprehensive video. I have included YouTube chapters for your viewing pleasure, so feel free to skip around to the parts that interest you. Without further ado, I present to you all Assassin's Creed 1. Let's start with the story. You are Desmond Miles, a bartender and former assassin who was kidnapped by the multinational corporate conglomerate Abstergo Industries. You are given a simple choice: cooperate and willingly use the Animus, a machine that simulates genetic memory from your ancestors' past to help Abstergo find whatever it is that they are looking for, or be put into a coma and they find what they are looking for anyway, but a lot slower and with less chance of surviving the ordeal. You make the smart decision to cooperate. You will live out the rest of the game hopping between your minimalist-style laboratory jail cell and the beautiful Holy Land of 1191. During your brief stints outside of the Animus, you will get to know your seeming captors, Lucy Stillman and Warren Vidic. Lucy seemingly plays the role of good cop to Warren's bad cop at the onset of the game. She is considerably warmer and more caring as to your well-being. Inside the Animus, you will relive the memories of your ancestor Altair, a member of the Assassin Brotherhood. You begin your journey through the Holy Land and Solomon's Temple, attempting to acquire the Ark of the Covenant, an important holy relic. We are introduced to Malik and Kadar, 2 brothers and fellow assassins. You swiftly dispatch an innocent old man in the tunnels underneath the temple, to which Malik lectures you on not following the Assassin's Creed. Name drop the game inside the game. Let's go. He explains the 3 tenets of the creed to you: stay your blade from the flesh of an innocent, hide in plain sight, and never compromise the Brotherhood. To which you call him a big baby and tell him you are 10 times the assassin he is. You lay eyes on the treasure, as well as Robert de Sale, a Grand Master of the Knights Templar and sworn enemy of the Assassin Brotherhood. You foolishly expose your presence to Robert and attempt to take his life to no avail. You are thrown away like a petulant child, and the passageway collapses, leading you to find another way out. Your mission has failed due to your own arrogance, and your companion's fate almost certainly seemed doomed. You travel back to Masyaf to face the wrath of Al-Mualim, the master of the Assassin Brotherhood. To your surprise, Malik returns with the treasure, but his arm severely damaged and his brother dead. He blames you, rightfully so, for ignoring the creed and causing this all to happen. He also says that Robert is not far behind him and is going to lay siege to Masyaf to recover the treasure. You go to the city walls and defend against the Templars for as long as you can before retreating to the fortress, and taking a leap of faith to flank the Templars at the gate by releasing a flood of heavy logs onto them. The Templars are repelled for now, but your temporary victory is not enough to make up for causing this all in the first place. You are berated by Al-Mualim and publicly executed for your transgressions. The end. Actually, you're still alive somehow, and the way in which this is accomplished become more clear at the end of the game. You are stripped of your rank and weapons as punishment and given a task to assassinate 9 men in hopes of ending the crusade and bringing peace to the Holy Lands. This is another example of the age-old trope of having all the upgrades and cool weapons at the start of the game to entice players, and then being stripped of them, only to gain them one by one throughout the game. Your first target is Tamir, a weapons dealer in the city of Damascus. Now that you are a novice again, you are forced to do your own research around the city to locate and plan your assassination of Tamir. You find him publicly killing a man for disrespecting him, and then approach him from behind to silently assassinate him. Actually, you get into a huge public fight, again, breaking one of the creed's tenets, but eventually kill him. And he begins the trend of explaining bits of the story and his true motivations for his actions as he lay dying in your arms. Sorry, I don't know why I wasn't able to silently kill him. You are then ejected from the Animus at the behest of Lucy with concerns for your health. After Warren leaves, you talk with Lucy and are informed they are under a deadline to find something, and she can't tell you much for both of your safety. She also explains that the Animus is translating everything into English for you, and then she knowledge gaps you by name-dropping Shassir, and essentially tells you that you're dumb. You head to bed and have some brief flashes of red symbols and letters before being awoken by Warren the next day, like a parent waking you up for school. Lucy is late to work, and Warren takes the opportunity to tell you the world needs order, and they are trying to build a better future by way of complete control over the world. He also starts the trend of comparing the goals of the assassins with Abstergo. They both seek peace and an end to conflict, but by different means. You return to Al-Mualim, where he somewhat echoes Warren's thoughts that you will eventually understand what's going on. This also begins your suspicion of a more complex relationship between Al-Mualim, the 9 targets, and the treasure at large. You are congratulated on your success. A weapon and a promotion is bestowed upon you, as well as 2 new targets in Acre and Jerusalem, Garnier and Talal respectively. You travel to Acre, and your second target is Garnier, a doctor who experiments and tortures his patients as well as uses herbs and drugs to brainwash them. You use a group of scholars to sneak into the hospital-turned-fortress and silently assassinate him, to which he explains his motivations and belief he is doing the right thing. He also name-drops the Piece of Eden as the true name for the treasure we recovered underneath the temple. You again return to Al-Mualim to be congratulated, promoted, and a weapon bestowed. You continue the trend of questioning why these men believe they are doing the right thing, but it is continually explained away by Al-Mualim. Al-Mualim explains that our enemies have also accused him of using poison to control the Assassin Brotherhood. You travel to Jerusalem to find and assassinate Talal, a slaver. You find his location, and upon arriving, you find you've stepped into a trap. He makes fun of you for being so easily trapped. Eventually, you're attacked by a group of enemies before pursuing him through the streets, where you tackle him and end his life. Cue the exposition and typical motivation explaining. He explains he is part of a brotherhood and also hints at the irony of your situation, which I will go ahead and list. You seek to promote peace, but commit murder. You seek to open the minds of men, but require obedience to the creed. You seek to reveal the danger of blind faith, but practice it yourself. Though it seems hypocritical, this in reality demonstrates the assassin's embracing of contradiction, that one may be 2 things, opposite in every way, simultaneously. Oh, I forgot to mention, the leader of the Assassin Bureau in Jerusalem is Malik, and he takes every opportunity to tell you what an idiot you are, and rubs it in your face that you got demoted. You also see the aftermath of his injuries in the form of him losing his left arm. You still have much to learn, and he berates you on still not truly understanding the creed. You are again ejected from the Animus, and Lucy informs Warren the Animus is overheating. So you take the time to converse with Lucy again about Warren's bad mood, and the backstory of Warren saving Lucy. You learn that Lucy is also a prisoner of Abstergo, just like us. You head to your room and find a piece of paper with our room door access code, allowing us to explore the lab alone for the first time. You find Lucy's pen, which is also an access key for her terminal, where you learn one of Lucy's friends at Abstergo suffered a mysterious death and they refuse to tell her the reality of her disappearance. You head to bed. More flashes of symbols. Warren wakes us up like usual, but is in a good mood unexpectedly. More of Warren explaining his motivations and his love for Abstergo, as well as some brief hints to
from those who came before.
You're given your next 3 targets: Abul, the merchant king of Damascus; William of Montferrat, the temporary ruler of Acre; Majd ad-Din, temporary ruler of Jerusalem. You travel to Damascus and find Abul is a hideous man and a spiteful ruler of his people. You sneak into the party he has thrown, and he begins to condemn the war and gets booed. He says everyone shouldn't have made fun of his hideous face, and he had actually poisoned the wine at the party. He orders the guards to kill everyone. You scale the walls of the palace, kill his guards, and finish him swiftly. Actually, you hit him with a few throwing knives just for fun, and he looks at you completely unfazed before you swiftly end him. He gets really insecure about appearance, and blah blah blah. You return to debrief the bureau leader, where you talk badly upon using poison and call it a coward's tool. To which I say, Altair would not enjoy the use of poison darts in the future installments of the games. You tell Al-Mualim about how you are uncertain of your actions, and that each man was so certain they are doing justly. And I was a bit preoccupied in this cutscene, adjusting ReShade so the game didn't look like trash. Don't worry, I'll talk more about ReShade and the graphics much later. Okay, let's go kill William and Acre. You learn William and Richard don't get along, and William plans to kill Richard and take control of Acre for the Templars. Oh, by the way, Richard is leading the crusade in the Holy Land. We kill William in his castle, and he explains his motivations. Oh, I had to ration the food. Oh, I had to teach them discipline. He also ominously says,
and in the end, you'll have only yourself to blame. You who speak of good intentions.
You return to Al-Mualim and boss up on him, asking what's really going on, before delivering a Breaking Bad-esque,
but no more.
Who are you to say no more?
I'm the one who does the killing. If you want it to continue, you'll speak straight with me for once.
Tread carefully, boy. I do not like your tone.
And I do not like your deception.
On a second viewing, and at a much more reasonable time of day, not 4 a.m., the foreshadowing in this game is crazy blatant at times. We visit Malik again in Jerusalem to find Majd ad-Din, and we actually act cordially with Malik and ask for his help finding him.
Attack carefully. Get to better know your prey.
With your help, I will. Where would you have me begin my search?
What's this? You're actually asking for my assistance instead of demanding it. I'm impressed.
Upon returning after our investigation to Malik, he calls us a novice again.
Jerusalem's regent Majd ad-Din is holding a public execution not far from here. It's sure to be well guarded, but it's nothing I can't handle. I know what to do.
And that is why you remain a novice in my eyes. You cannot know anything, only suspect. You must expect to be wrong, to have overlooked something. Anticipate, Altair. How many times must I remind you of this?
As you wish.
Anyways, we go out and kill Majd at a public execution, where I again make the mistake of throwing 5 knives into his head to no effect. Cut to the super clumsy fight on the super small rooftop. Nonetheless, he begins his exposition. But surprisingly, he's pretty honest.
You'd kill people simply for believing differently than you.
Of course not. I killed them because I could. Because it was fun. Do you know what it feels like to determine another man's fate? And did you see the way that people cheered? The way they feared me? I was like a god. You'd have done the same if you could. Such power.
He wanted power and enjoyed killing people. Thank God someone's honest in this game. His honesty is rewarded with an extra brutal double stab. Malik only lightly grills us when we return to tell him of our success, and tells us to essentially leave. Oh, whoa! We're being ejected from the Animus. Warren says we're in a lot of trouble, and Lucy informs us the assassins are coming to rescue us. Cue on point Desmond quote,
Man, things just keep getting weirder and weirder around here.
"Don't worry, Desmond, we all feel the same way about the overall plot of the series." Lucy finally lets us know Abstergo is just a Templar front. Wow! She leaves us with another mysterious line.
The answers to all of your questions are right in front of you. You just have to know where to look.
Okay. So we go in our room. Psych. We're actually going to go to her terminal and read her emails. We're being kind of creepy at this point. Okay. Okay. Apparently you were supposed to sneak up behind Warren at some point and pickpocket his access pen so you could read his emails. I didn't do this, so the answers are not right in front of us, actually. It's about 5 a.m. at the time, so I proceeded to walk around the room like an idiot for 10, 20, 30 minutes. You go to sleep, and Warren doesn't even give you your morning wake-up call. What the hell, man? You go and pickpocket him to read his emails later. Oh, good morning, Al-Mualim. Oh, okay, more exposition. And he's holding the piece of Eden ominously as we press him for more answers. He tells us the shiny ball is really powerful and can control the minds of men with illusions. Okay, whatever the hell that means. 2 more targets, Sabrin in Acre and Jubair, the chief scholar in Damascus. We hit up Acre first, and for once in our life, get a compliment by the bureau leader.
Altair,
Yes, Rafiq.
I owe you an apology
For what?
for doubting your dedication to our cause.
No, it was I who erred. I believe myself above the creed. You owe me nothing.
As you wish, my friend. Go in safety.
And we are undergoing character development. You find Sabrine at the docks, being mad paranoid about assassins. Rightfully so, before you kill him while he's playing with his bow on his ship. You find out he's an atheist and was planning to blockade the Crusaders' ships from reinforcing Richard. Also, I haven't mentioned it, but dang, we getting drippier as the game goes. Our sash gets bigger and bigger with every kill. Sorry. Al-Mualim starts the foreshadowing again by telling us,
Do you see now why the Templars are a threat?
Whereas we would dispel the illusion, they would use it to rule.
Yes, to reshape the world in an image more pleasing to them. That is why I sent you to steal their treasure. That is why I keep it locked away. And that is why you kill them. So long as even one survives, so too does their desire to create a new world order.
cut to Jubair doing some good old-fashioned book burning in Damascus. Oh, I guess people go in the fire too. Jubair is doing 6 different matching book burning parties in Damascus. He also dresses exactly the same as all of his friends, so we can't actually tell which one is him. You can go one by one and see if you get lucky and guess correctly, or look at a walkthrough and pick the one down here to go to. You sneak up the roof above him and take out the single archer watching over him with a throwing knife. 2 archers. Oh, and of course the body fell right next to him, and he's running away. Cut to a huge fight, and we got him. He says books are lame and anyone can write anything they want. Whoa, being ejected from the Animus yet again. We overhear Warren is being rushed to find the piece of Eden, and when they find it, oh snap.
Working on it.
And when it's done, he'll be taken care of.
They're gonna kill us. He gives us the night off, and you talk to Lucy some more. We tell her there's an issue with the Animus,
I'm pretty sure it just ejected me
I'm
when
pretty sure you should shut up.
and she kindly tells us to shut the hell up, that they have to stop Abstergo. She says, didn't you read Warren's emails yesterday after I told you that mysterious quote? No, but we will when you leave the room. She tells us about an accident involving one of the pieces of Eden. Oh god, there's multiple of these things? You go to bed. Just kidding, time to creep through some emails. We find a deleted email on Lucy's terminal. Oh my gosh, She was the one telling the assassins to come rescue us. What's this weird spam email at the top? Wait, the number's Mason.
No, I want to keep pressing you.
Hey! Who are you people? What do you want from me?
We want the numbers, Mason. That's all we've ever wanted.
Sorry, I mean the letters, Desmond. They spell something out. We will be there. We will be there soon. You snoop through Warren's emails, and there's nothing special, really. We learn about a fluoride incident Abstergo caused, and that someone is warning Warren they will expose what he and Abstergo are doing to the world. Maybe that's why he's been extra moody recently. You go to bed, and oh sweet, he actually woke us up this morning. Oh, he just woke us up to lecture us. He seems to think we've been contacting the assassins, and we caused that email to be written to him. He tells us books are fake news, just like Jubair. Back into the Animus we go. Oh, hello, Al-Mualim. The only one left is Roberto, and he's supposed to be in Jerusalem for a funeral. Malik has come full circle with us and says we're a changed man.
I do not seek revenge, but knowledge.
Truly, you are not the man I once knew.
My work has taught me many things, revealed secrets to me, but there are still pieces of this puzzle I do not possess.
We even apologize to Malik for causing the death of his brother and his crippled arm.
Fortune favor your blade, brother.
Malik, before I go, there's something I should say.
Be out with it.
I've been a fool.
Normally, I'd make no argument, but what is this? What are you talking about?
All this time, I never told you I was sorry. Too damn proud. You lost your arm because of me. Lost Qadar. You had every right to be angry.
I do not accept your apology.
I understand.
No, you don't. I do not accept your apology because you are not the same man who went with me into Solomon's temple. And so you have nothing to apologize for.
Malik.
Perhaps if I had not been so envious of you, I would not have been so careless myself. I'm just as much to blame.
Don't say such things.
We are one. As we share the glory of our victories, so too should we share the pain of our defeat. In this way, we grow closer. We grow stronger.
Thank you, brother.
Rest if you need to, Altair, that you might be ready for what lies ahead.
Altair has just about finished his character arc. You go to the funeral and Roberto is wearing a big black helmet and eventually points us out to the crowd and a fight ensues. You go to finish Roberto and... oh god, a woman! Here comes the plot twist. Roberto is going to converse with Richard and the Saracens to convince them to focus their armies on the assassins. Just like William said,
And in the end, you'll have only yourself to blame. You who speak of good intentions.
we've been killing both Crusaders and Saracens the entire game, and he will use that to destroy us. You are a gentleman, so you let her live and head off to inform Malik of Roberto's plan. Malik tells us to consult with Al-Mualim before chasing Roberto. But again, our character arc is almost done. We don't trust Al-Mualim either. He's been mysterious the whole game. We depart to assassinate our final target, Roberto. You travel to Asuf and you fight your way through hordes of Crusaders and Templars alike. You finally come face to face with Roberto and Richard. You walk into the midst of men ready to kill you. You dare to accuse Roberto of treachery. Richard doesn't know what to believe, so he leaves it up to God and lets you two duel it out. You've finally done it. Roberto is dying in your arms at last. It's time for the last plot twist.
You know nothing of schemes. You're but a puppet. He betrayed you, boy, just as he betrayed me.
Speak sense, Templar, or not at all.
9 men he sent you to kill, yes? The 9 who guarded the treasure's secret.
What of it?
It wasn't 9 who found the treasure, assassin. Not 9, but 10.
A 10th? None may live who carry the secret. Give me his name.
Oh, but you know him well. And I doubt very much you'd take his life as willingly as you've taken mine.
Who?
It is your master, Al-Mualim.
But he is not a Templar.
Did you never wonder how it is he knew so much? Where to find us, how many we numbered, what we aspire to attain.
He is the master of the assassins.
We, master of lies. You and I just two more pawns in his grand game. And now, with my death, only you remain. Do you think he'll let you live, knowing what you do?
I've no interest in the treasure.
Ah, but he does. The only difference between your master and I is that he did not want to share.
There were not 9 men who found the piece of Eden, but 10. Al-Mualim is the last left alive now. Richard gives us some big talk.
Even now, that heathen Saladin cuts through my men and I must attend to them. But perhaps, having seen how vulnerable he is, he will reconsider his actions. Yes, in time, what you seek may be possible.
You were no more secure than him. Do not forget that. The men you left behind to rule in your stead did not intend to serve you for longer than they had.
Yes. I am well aware.
Then I'll take my leave. My master and I have much to discuss. It seems that even he is not without fault.
He is only human, as are we all. You as well.
Safety and peace be upon you.
But we tell him he's within stabbing distance, and he politely lays off. Bang! Animus ejection once again. Oh snap, Warren is pissed.
Listen,
Oh no.
seems your assassin friends found us.
What?
How'd you do it, Desmond?
Hey, look, I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever's going on down there has got nothing to do with me.
They're here for you, and I sure as shit didn't invite them.
Oh, there's some shooting, and the rescue operation is underway. We are gonna escape.
Or do I need to evacuate the prisoner?
Only 5 or 6. We've got them outnumbered. Couple of wounded, but we'll pull through. We'll get it under control.
God damn you, Desmond. You couldn't leave well enough alone.
I told you I had nothing to do with this. How would I even contact them? Telepathy? Come on.
Doesn't matter. They'll be dead soon enough. Here, have a listen.
Oh.
It's been neutralized.
The rescue operation didn't go so well. And apparently Abstergo has been killing off every assassin commune around the world. Lucy apologizes and says our parents may still be alive, but she doesn't know. Oh, and she finally tells us point blank that she's an undercover assassin.
What do you want me to do?
Just try and have a little faith.
You decide that's one too many plot twists for today and go to bed. Psych, you go creep through some emails and find the conference room door passcode, where we creep through, guess what? Some more emails. And uncover the evil master plan Abstergo has in store. They're going to put the piece of Eden into a satellite that will project its influence all over the world in order to control everyone's minds. There's also some more evil stuff in the email, but meh. Now we go to bed. More symbols, flash, and good morning, Warren. Warren says,
I'd like to get this over with as quickly as possible.
Echoing my sentiments regarding the game as I watch the sun begin to rise, knowing I'd stayed up all night to finish it. Into the Animus one last time. You arrive at Masayaf to find the townspeople and your fellow brothers are being mind-controlled. You fight some off. Oh hey, Malik. He says he's going to make a distraction so we can go fight Al-Mualim. And so we walk through the unwashed masses to confront Al-Mualim on his deception. We find Al-Mualim and he hits you with the shiny ball energy and begins monologuing. Then he spawns illusions of all 9 men we killed. Easy fight. Oh, shiny ball energy again. We call him a big baby and he takes the bait to fight us one-on-one. Oh wait, there's 10 of him. We beat the illusions and now it's one-on-one. But first, a quaint conversation where he tells us the shiny ball wouldn't work on us because we were too stubborn. Cue really simple boss fight where you counter him once with the hidden blade equipped and kill him instantly. You activate the ball and plan to destroy it, but wuss out because it's so shiny. A big map pops up showing where all the pieces of Eden are, and probably where some of the next games are going to take place. Warren says,
We've got it.
And we are ejected. Abstergo now has everything they need, seemingly, to take over the world, and we hand-delivered it to them. Lucy convinces them to let us live for now. Oh, and Desmond now has eagle vision and sees those crazy symbols and writings all over the lab. We go into our room and stare at the wall, only to find a bunch of symbols. Bam! Credits! Wow, what a cliffhanger. That's it. We've finished the story section. What a journey. Overall, the story's pretty good, if slow at times, and seemingly tedious. It takes a good while for you to start to get some of the answers to your many questions, like what is Abstergo, what is the Piece of Eden, who is Lucy, what is Al-Mualim hiding, etc. The amount of foreshadowing can be overwhelming if you've played the game before or already know the general story, but on a first playthrough, it wasn't so bad. Or maybe I didn't think so at the time because I was so sleep deprived. As a start to the entire Assassin's Creed story, at times it can feel like a lot of exposition to set up the world at large, especially if you played a few of the games. We're still left with a lot of questions though as the game ends. What will our fate be? What is Abstergo going to do? What's Lucy's plan? What happens to Altair next? What are all the weird symbols throughout the lab, etc.? Again, this is the first of a huge series, so it comes as no surprise that they had to leave a lot for the next 100 games to cover. If it felt like I rushed through any pieces of the story, that's because some parts just felt vapid, and after the first few targets, I sort of lost interest in their dying words and already had a good idea that some big plot twists were already in the pipeline, and was just ready to see them through. I will say that when the credits began to roll, I was upset almost instantly. I wanted more of the story, and that feeling shocked me as I had only felt it a few times while playing, with this being one of them. Maybe that's what all good first installments should end on, because I was half tempted to just boot up Assassin's Creed 2 and start. Let's take some time to discuss the many characters we met along the way and what stood out about them. Desmond Miles, one half of the protagonist of the story, is fun to play as, and if he and Lucy weren't so fun together, I would have dreaded the lab scenes even more than I already did. He embodies the player pretty well, asking all the same questions someone would have being introduced to the series, and he plays well in his role. Lucy might actually be one of my favorites. She's the only one who cares about Desmond, and I could see her being an assassin a mile away, but she still felt fun to talk to, and I looked forward to Warren leaving the room so I could tell her how much Warren sucked behind his back. She makes you interested in her, and that's all you can ask for in a character. Warren Vidic, a seeming diehard Templar, he's a great Templar stand-in for the lab scenes, and does a good job explaining and corroborating the beliefs from the Templars and the Animus. He features a bunch in the future few games, and we learn more about him in those. I'm not going to spoil his story, because I think he actually progresses and improves as the games go on. Altair, the other half of the protagonist of the story, was great. He underwent a clear and defined character arc, and grew to be more and more likable as he humbled himself. He had some really great moments, especially standing up to Al-Mualim at the midway point. Altair is a pretty badass guy, and it felt like that as you played him. Al-Mualim, he was mysterious the entire game, but I appreciated him slapping some sense into Altair in the beginning. The betrayal got more and more obviously scripted as the game progressed. Malik served as the seed for Altair's character development, and also a metric to measure it. He slowly warms up to us as we learn to follow the Creed, and in the end, we even teach him what the Creed really means, to be wise. The apology scene was also much needed, and was fantastic. It finally felt like Altair had reached the end of his arc. Roberto, or Robert. What if I told you the first half of the video I called him Robert, and the second half Roberto? You didn't even notice, potentially. That's because he's so insignificant. We only saw him twice in the story, and he almost feels like a side character. In fact, he is a side character. He served as the stand-in big bad guy for most of the game until Al-Mualim exposed himself. Tamir the Black Arms Merchant was just a bad guy. That's it. His fight was super easy, but for some reason the backstab didn't work. Garnier was a sicko who wanted to torture people and drug them to follow his every word. Another easy fight. Talal the Slaver was lame. This fight was super easy, and you can literally just rush past the trap he set and just stab him in the street. Abul the Merchant King was wild. What a character. He was so ugly and so butthurt about it, he was willing to poison an entire party. What an incel. William of Montferrat was kinda okay. He at least had that moment he foreshadowed Robert, or Roberto, using our killings against us at the end of the game. Majd was maybe a highlight of all the dying monologues of the game. He's brutally honest with us, he enjoyed killing people and loved power. So we stabbed him in the head extra hard. Jubair was just a book hater, and his only cool thing he did was push the guy into the fire. Sabran was a paranoid crackhead and saw assassins in anyone close to him. He also loved playing with that dang bow, so we stabbed him as he did it. Richard. There's not much to say. We see him all of one time, really, but he did somewhat shine by just letting us duke it out and letting God decide who is right. Kinda based. If you noticed I don't have much to say for a majority of the targets, it's because I don't have much to say. It felt more and more tedious to go and kill them, especially when you factor in the gameplay loop that you have to go through to start their assassination, which I will cover later. Exploration is a major factor of this game. The lead designer described the game not as a sandbox, but as a flower box.
So everything you can do with your freedom is basically driving the story forward. In a sense, our big sandbox is more like a flower box in which everything is well placed to experience your freedom in a narrative structure.
They've placed flowers all around the world for us to discover. The levels are beautiful, not as beautiful as future games of course, but for the first installment were excellent. The most useless level ever was The Kingdom, that small map that links all the towns together. You eventually get access to a pseudo fast travel system to simply skip it. Why? Because even the devs realized that part of the game sucked. It was cool the first time doing it, and the view of the various cities as you approach them was awesome the first time around. But I don't think I'd like to do it all 50 times the game would require you to do it if the fast travel system wasn't around. I do enjoy they added it as an option for the people who like to play games without a HUD, radar, etc. There are plenty of collectibles around the levels in the form of flags, and the world has a lot of side things to do, such as helping civilians or climbing viewpoints to expand the map. The civilian helping and viewpoints were cool the first time around, just like the kingdom portion, but as I did it more and more, it felt like a job. In fact, I stopped helping the civilians. The reward in the form of aiding and escaping combat felt pathetic, and it was much easier to just run and hide in a garden shed on a roof. I would have probably stopped climbing the viewpoints too, but the storyline required you to do 3 of them for every target. Some of the viewpoints were unique and fun to scale, but a majority were copy-pasted generic towers that aged like milk. The leap of faiths after every tower became a staple of the series, and they're just pretty fun. Could you imagine if this wasn't included? Not only would they have made you climb 50 generic towers, but then you have to slowly climb down them. Oh god, the horror. The cities are mostly built by blocks, as the lead designer says.
The way we did our cities was basically to have a lot of blocks that are already with its own gameplay. So we have buildings where everything is interactive and it works, but also we have other ingredients that the character can interact with that are all architecture elements.
AKA, they are copy and pasted, but there are enough of them that it doesn't get too obvious, and interspaced are unique buildings or patterns of the blocks. Each city has its own unique design for the most part, and their own color palette, which helps them feel extra distinct. The NPCs and guards in the streets also rock different clothes for each city as well. Speaking of NPCs, I thought the women who ask you to sign up for their OnlyFans incessantly were the worst until I met more and more of the psycho homeless people who push you around. I'm gonna be honest, I broke that whole do not kill innocents thing at least once and pounced on a homeless person with my hidden blade in broad daylight just to let some anger out. I want to make sure you don't think I did it because they're homeless, but because they had ruined quite a few stealth missions by that point, and that final push in the street was the breaking point. I had to do it. Here we go. Let's talk about movement. I have a love-hate relationship with this game's parkour and overall movement. At times, it feels great. I'm jumping where I want to and look sick doing it. Other times I get halfway up a wall, only to discover I can't climb the other half, even though I'm looking at the handhold right there. Just grab it. Oh my god! Oh, and sometimes Altair just jumps to his death randomly for no reason. Sometimes you are climbing something and oh, oops, he jumped off the wall backwards during a chase scene. Now I'm stun locked by an enemy for a few seconds. Again, sometimes it feels great, but sometimes it's just so frustrating. I remember this even from my first playthrough years and years ago. What I don't remember exactly is if the next two games in the trilogy markedly improved it or not, because I vaguely sort of remember it not being that much better. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, another gripe. Because we got demoted in the beginning of the game, they took away some of our basic abilities in climbing. Like when you jump and start falling, you're able to grab a ledge to save yourself, if it's possible. What the hell, man? You took away one of the key saving features of the game when Altair randomly wants to die by jumping into the void? What a stupid decision. Speaking of taking away our basic abilities, they did the same thing with the combat. Oh, okay, yeah, let's talk about combat. The combat is just Batman Arkham Asylum, but this game did it first. You can light strike, heavy strike, grab, counter strike, guard, and grab break. You can also do a somewhat combo by tapping strike again, just as your blade makes contact with the enemy's sword. I don't know if I ever did this after the tutorial section where they explained it, because it's just as effective to just mash strike 20 times a second, and the most effective strategy is to combine that with occasionally countering their strikes, which either ends in you insta-killing the enemy, or throwing them onto the ground, which you can easily follow up with a few light strikes to kill the enemy. Combat isn't bad, I'll be honest, but the game limits your combat abilities at first, like I was saying. That whole Counter-Strike thing, you don't have it for like 2 hours of the game. That whole grab-breaking thing, same deal. I was flabbergasted at the beginning because I played Assassin's Creed games. I know how the combat goes, and instinctively I was mashing the Counter-Strike button, but it wasn't unlocked. Combat in this game is just a means to an end. I fight through a few guards to kill a target. I fight a few guards because sometimes it's easier to just kill 10 of them than to hide. It's not the combat is bad, it's just not the main draw of the game. You know what game I really enjoyed the combat of? Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I purposely start fights with mercenaries just to have fun doing the combat. Well, guess I'll have to wait a couple games for the combat to be more enjoyable. Okay, I promised I'd talk about ReShade during the story section, so let's do it. I used ReShade as well as the texture Overhaul mod by CryNation to make the game look better. If you don't know what ReShade is, it hooks into the game and has thousands of features to make the game look better, ranging from adding ray trace lighting to changing the color palette. If scenes from the game look wildly different, even though I'm in the same city or area, it's because I was playing around with the settings until I found what I thought looked best. The ray tracing was only experimented with in the first few levels. It was cool, but it was a big performance hit, going from solid 140 frames per second to like 60. I've got a great computer and an RTX 4080, and I still suffered from this. Anyways, most of the time I thought it looked better off. If you're asking why I did all this, well, the game is from 2007 and looks very bland. I'll show some comparisons to the game with the mods and without, and I'm glad I used them. That's not to say the graphics were bad, but it was 2007, and if I have the option to make them, in my opinion, even slightly better, I will. Okay, let's talk about the gameplay as a whole. First, the tutorial section that the game starts with is overly long and tedious. It's the first in the series, so I somewhat understand, and it was 2007, so I suppose they didn't know how to make tutorials fluidly flow into the actual gameplay. The gameplay loop is as follows. Wake up, Warren says hello, go into the Animus, talk to Al-Mualim, go to either Jerusalem, Damascus, or Acre, do a single viewpoint to find the Assassin's Bureau, talk to the head honcho at the Bureau, go do 3 more viewpoints. Now you have to do one of several different types of investigation missions to unlock info about your target. Let's list them. Assassination, interrogation, archer assassination, rooftop race, eavesdrop, pickpocket, escort, and merchant stand destruction. Fun fact, I played the director's cut of the game, aka the PC release, because there is no normal version for the PC. And the director's cut added the archer assassination, escort, merchant stand destruction, and rooftop race missions. Why the hell would they add escort missions to a game that lacked them to begin with? This series as a whole is eventually plagued with these, and they added them retroactively to a game without them? What the hell? It has the classic problem where the NPC walks faster than your walk and slower than your run, so you have to toggle between the two so you don't lose sight of him. Hideous, horrendous gameplay. Are the investigation missions fun? Yeah, like the first time you do them because it's something new. They aren't bad the 10th time around, but that's because I only did the good ones that many times. I only ever did merchant stand destruction once, same with archer assassination, escort, and eavesdrop, so I mostly just pickpocketed, assassinated people, and did the rooftop races. Just like the combat, they felt like a means to an end. I had to do 3 viewpoints, then 3 investigation missions to then get the joy of killing my target in the city. Oh, sorry, yeah, the gameplay loop. So you do the 3 investigation missions, then back to head honcho bureau guy, who gives you the A-OK to kill the target. You kill the target, listen to his bullcrap justification, escape from the enemies, go to bureau, then back to Al-Mualim, or sometimes immediate animus ejection. Then we wait for Warren to leave the room, talk to Lucy, go into our room, psych, we're actually going to go creepily read some emails, then go to sleep for real. Also, apparently, all those cameras in the lab weren't real, just like the Walmart ones. Because we sneak around the lab doing all sorts of stuff and no one ever notices or tells Warren. For God's sake, we stole his access pen on camera, and every night we sneak out of our room and read everyone in the building's emails. The gameplay loop gets old quickly. If I didn't sit down and stay up all night to finish the game, I don't know if I'd ever finish it. I almost just wanted to watch someone play it for me, or just go watch the cutscenes. Future games improve the gameplay loop markedly by adding more unique things, more impressive maps, equipment purchasing, etc. It's the first in the series, I've said it multiple times, but it's the alpha version of what the series will turn into with time. That said, I don't fault the game really. It was good for its time and held up pretty well, and thankfully didn't drag itself out for too long. I enjoyed my time with it, and I left the game ready to play the next one. Let's talk about the making of the game and some fun facts. Apparently this was originally supposed to be a Prince of Persia game, but then it wasn't. Now that I've said that, you can kinda imagine it, right? I can. The characters you meet in the game are mostly based on real people from history, as well as the cities being designed to really emulate their real-life counterparts. They even hired a real historian to do research for them. This of course also improves in future games to the degree that exploring those games feels marvelous, but it started even back in this game. The designers wanted to make sure the games didn't feel fictional or fantastical, but realistic, and they did a good job. Playing the game, I am almost starstruck that they had all the core features of the future games even here. It is impressive that even so soon as the first game, the gameplay was great, it would only improve with time. They were told to redefine the action-adventure genre for the next generation of consoles, and they did it in only 4 years of development. Like I said, I was almost in awe of the core concepts being shown to the player. So many games eventually adopted similar concepts, and I won't tell you Assassin's Creed originated all of them, but it certainly has all of them. It is easily compared to Prince of Persia, Splinter Cell, Thief, Grand Theft Auto, and even Tony Hawk. Wait, Tony Hawk? Yeah, the parkour's smooth. Sometimes. The designers put an emphasis on not portraying anyone's side of history as the bad guys. Hence, they didn't. The Crusaders aren't the good guys, they're just another side of a conflict. The only bad guys are Abstergo. Even the Assassin Brotherhood isn't truly the good guys. Altair is Arabic for the flying one. That's why his hood is pointy and his robe is kind of split at the bottom, so when you jump from things, he makes a shadow of a hawk. I don't know, that was just a fun fact. Altair's persona is a hawk. Take that one to the bank. Oh, also, the assassins are based on an Islamic sect known as the Order of Hashashin, from which the term assassin originates, and the series is heavily influenced by Vladimir Bartol's novel Alamut. I am at around 7,000 words for the script now, and I think I could write more honestly, but this will have to do. All in all, the game is pretty good. I won't say great, but I'd rate it pretty positively. The future games shining so bright may be affecting my decision here, and I've said it in the past, you shouldn't rate one game lower just because a future installment is better, but I can't help it in this scenario. I tried my best to blast through the game at some points, and at others I was enjoying myself and taking my time. What else is there to say? A pretty good start to a massive series that would grow to amazing heights. That's it. Again, this is my first time writing a script at this length, and I hope it was entertaining enough to listen to for the whole time. I appreciate you all supporting the channel, and if you have any thoughts, feelings, or think I missed something, feel free to comment and let me know. Thank you all for watching, and peace.